Good morning, students. Let's begin our social science class. In continuation of NCRT History, chapter The Rise of Nationalism in Europe, today's contents: the making of nationalism in Europe, the aristocracy and the new middle class. What did liberal nationalism stand for? So, these topic I am going to cover in this video. Let's start. If you look at the map of mid 18th century Europe, you will find that there were no nation state as we know them today. Germany, Italy, and Switzerland were divided into kingdoms, duchies, and cantons whose rulers had their autonomous territories. Eastern and Central Europe were under autocratic monarchies, which within the territories of which lived diverse people belong to different languages or ethnic groups or spoke different languages. When we talk about autocratic, means governing themselves, they ruled according to their own way. The Habsburg Empire ruled over Austria Hungary, for example, was a patchwork of many different regions and peoples. It included the Alpine regions, the Tyrol, Austria, Sudetenland, as well as Bohemia, where the aristocracy was predominantly German speaking. Now, see the variation of language. It also included Italian speaking provinces of Lombardy and Venetia. So, Germany, Italian, then in Hungary, half of the population spoke Magyar, while the other half spoke variety of other dialects. So now three example we have seen in language: Germany, Italian, and Magyar, and other dialects. In Galicia, the aristocracy spoke Polish, and this is the another example. So one place which is ruled by Habsburg Empire, such kind of differences seems in the language. Beside these three dominant groups, they also lived within the boundaries of the empire a mass subject peasant people, Bohemians and Slavs in north, Slovenes in Carinola, then Croats to the south, and Romans to the east in Transylvania. Such difference Italian speaking, and Hungary half of the people Magyar, and half the variety dialect Galician spoke. So these were the differences which we have noticed just now did not easily promote a sense of political unity. The only tie binding these diverse groups together was a common allegiance to the emperor. The paragraphs try to show, although they live under one autocratic ruler, but what is tie all of them together? Not that they want to live, but only the elegance of their emperor. Ki we are under this emperor, not by soul we are all together. They have lot of differences. Now, the aristocracy and the peasant group. Aristocracy is the word that shows the elite group who's having all sort of luxury. We are going to see the features. Socially and politically, a landed aristocracy was the dominant class on the continent, those who ruled over the European society. The members of this class were by a common way of life that cut across regional divisions. Their families were very often connected by ties of marriages. This powerful aristocracy was, however, numerically a small group. They spoke French for purpose of diplomacy and in high society. Then also they are means separated themselves with the common people, and these common, because the majority of population made of peasantry. To the west, the bulk of land was farmed by tenants and small owner, while in the eastern and central Europe the pattern of land holding was characterized by vast estate where cultivators by the serf, the vast land cultivated by the serf and the small land cultivated by the peasants. So these aristocrat people stay aloof with the peasantry. Now, growth of urban middle class, we are going to see there were one more class generate in the European society. What is the reason behind it? The new middle class. Industrialization began in England in the second half of 18th century, but in France and parts of German states it's occurred only during 19th century. New social group came into being: a working population, working class population, those who work as a worker in factories; middle class, made up of industrialists, businessmen, and professional. It was among the educated liberal middle classes that ideas of national unity following the abolition of aristocratic privileges gained popularity. Means, as they are having education, so they talk about the the powerful aristocrat privileges that should be abolished, and they are also getting the same sort of treatment in their society. So this is a wake of new social group came into being as a working class population. Now, the new topic: liberalism. Liberalism is a political and a moral philosophy based on liberty and equality. When we talk about the word liber, then it derives from the Latin root, it means free. Liber means free. Nationalism was closely linked to the idea of liberalism. This was during early 19th century. What does a social liberalism means? Social liberalism stood for freedom for the individual and equality of all before the law. It emphasized the concept of government by consent. This is political liberalism. That political liberalism means it emphasized the concept of government by consent, as well a constitution and representative government through parliament. Then economic liberalism means that the freedom of market. It also ban on restrictions, free movement of goods and capital. Creation of a unified economic territory for the free movement of goods, people, and capital. This is also economic liberalism. So, altogether, the liberalism, social liberalism, the stood for freedom for the individual and equality of all before the law. Political liberalism emphasized the concept of government by consent, and also a constitution and representative government through parliament. And economic liberalism stood for freedom of market and abolition of state of imposed restriction on the movement of goods and capital. Afterward we can see there were some obstacle in between of liberalism when they want to carried out their trade activities. So obstacle that the liberal nationalists wanted to overcome in economic sphere, we are going to see what obstacle come across to these trader in economic sphere. Obstacle: when we see the previous history, Napoleon had created out of countless the small principalities a confederation of 39 states. Each of these possessed its own currency and weight and measure. 39 states, different weight and measurement system. For example, we use 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. But in those days, that practice was not there. A merchant traveling to sell his goods from Hamburg to Nuremberg would have had to pass through 11 custom barriers and pay duty of about 5% of each of them. First problem or obstacle: when merchant take its good to one place, for example Hamburg to Nuremberg, then he had to pass 11 custom barrier and pay duty of about 5% of each, 11 time custom duties to carry out the goods from one place to another. As each region had its own system of weights and measures, this is involved a time consuming calculation. Means 11 you are taking one place to another, so here the measurement is different and other place is different, so it is time consuming. This is another obstacle. The measure of cloth, for example, was the ellie. which is in each region stood for different length. Ellie is a measuring unit in those days. An alley of textile material, what in Frankfurt would get you 54.7 centimeter cloth, in Mainz 55.1 centimeter, in Nuremberg 65.6, 60.5 6 centimeter, and Freiburg 53.5 centimeter cloth. Means these are the places where one alley, for example 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, but here you can see the one alley for Frankfurt is 54.7, for the place Mainz is 55.1, for Nuremberg it is 65.6, and the Freiburg it is 53.5. How much differences in the measurement? This create a lot of problem to the traders. To solve all these problems, a custom union was formed by the initiative of Prussia in 1834, and it was termed as Gelleverin. Now we are going to see the work which is carried out by Gelleverin, which is known as the custom union. In 1834, a custom union or Gelleverin was formed at the initiative of Prussia and joined by most of the German states. The Union abolished tariff barriers and reduced the number of currencies from over 30 to 2. The creation of network of railways for the stimulated mobility, harnessing economic interest to national unification. Now question related to the topics. Explain the major political features of mid 18th century Europe. For this, you are going to write the features like how the German, Italy, and Switzerland divided into, then Eastern and Central Europe, as well as people spoke different languages. The first paragraph. Then, second question, how was the Habsburg Empire a patchwork of many different regions and people in Europe? You are going to write about Austria Hungary and give example of different places the people use different languages. Then socially and politically, a landed aristocracy was the dominant class on the continent. Justify the statement. Here you are going to write the features of aristocracy which is given in paragraph. What led to the emergence of new middle class in Europe? Industrialization. You are going to write the features of a middle class group. Then, what is meant by liberalism? It is clearly given, that is the freedom, and it derived from Latin root liber, which is mean free. Then you will write social, political, and economic liberalism. Then, what problem faced by the people in economic liberalism? This how you are going to write in points. Then custom union is Gelivrin, sixth answer. Then Prussia and in 1834 took initiative to form, and purpose of the formation of this, the abolish tariff barrier and reduce the number of currency from over 30 to 2. This is what the answer. So that's all for today. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.